What if the reason senior men have stopped caring about women has nothing to do with bitterness, rejection, or even age itself? What if it's something society refuses to acknowledge because admitting it would expose how exhausting modern relationships have become for men? Here's the truth. Senior men haven't given up on love. They've discovered something more valuable, something that changes everything once you experience it. Peace, real, uninterrupted peace. And once they taste it, there's no going back. Look, the cultural narrative is simple. Men who stop pursuing women are damaged. They're bitter from divorce. They're too old. They've given up. Something is wrong with them. But the truth is far more complex. The truth is that senior men have finally reached a stage in life where their emotional energy is too valuable to waste on relationships that drain more than they give. They're not broken, they're awake. And what they've woken up to is something most people spend their entire lives avoiding: the realization that not all connection is worth the cost. One of the biggest reasons senior men stop caring about women is something almost no woman sees coming: the discovery that life without romantic drama is unbelievably peaceful. Let me paint you a picture. A 68-year-old engineer, divorced at 62 after 30 years of marriage, spent decades managing moods, walking on eggshells, navigating conflicts he didn't start and couldn't win, being blamed when things went wrong, being invisible when things went right. Then the divorce finalizes, and for the first time in 3 decades, silence. Not loneliness, silence. Real silence. No tests, no accusations, no emotional emergencies at 11 p.m. that he's supposed to fix. He wakes up on a Saturday morning, makes coffee, sits on his porch, reads for 2 hours. No interruptions. No one asking what he's thinking. No one upset that he wants solitude. No one manufacturing conflict because they're bored. And something clicks. This peace he's experiencing, it's not temporary relief. It's what life can actually be when you're not constantly managing someone else's emotional chaos. So when friends suggest he start dating again, he asks himself one question: will she disturb this peace? And if there's even a 10% chance the answer is yes, he walks away because he's learned something crucial. Peace is more valuable than partnership. And once you've had real peace, you'll never sacrifice it for anything less than extraordinary. But here's where it gets deeper. Something else happens to men around 60. They stop pretending. For decades, men were taught to pursue, impress, provide, and sacrifice. Is it worth it anymore? That's the question that emerges somewhere around midlife. For decades, men were taught to be what women wanted, to perform masculinity in ways that served everyone except themselves. Take a 65-year-old financial advisor I know. Spent 40 years being the dependable guy. Worked 60-hour weeks, missed his kids' games, sacrificed hobbies he loved, became who he thought he needed to be to deserve love and respect. Then his wife leaves, says she's not happy. After 40 years of his sacrifice, she's not happy. And instead of falling apart, he has an epiphany. He looks at his life and asks, who am I without the performance? What do I actually want? The answers shock him. He doesn't want a big house. He wants a small condo near the lake. He doesn't want expensive restaurants. He wants to cook simple meals and eat in silence. He doesn't want to impress anyone. He wants to finally just exist without judgment. So he sells the house, moves, simplifies everything. And when women show interest, they want him to be that same performing, providing, proving man he spent 4 decades being. And he says no, not out of bitterness, out of clarity. The mask is off, and he's never putting it back on, not for anyone. Now, some people hear this and say, but everyone needs companionship. He's just afraid of being vulnerable again. Wrong. He's not afraid of vulnerability. He's exhausted from vulnerability being weaponized. There's a difference between healthy vulnerability and being emotionally exploited for 40 years. He learned that difference the hard way. Here's the part that cuts deepest. Many senior men feel unseen, not unloved, unseen. Their sacrifices unnoticed, their loyalty underappreciated, their value questioned or taken for granted. Let me give you a specific example. A 71-year-old retired electrician worked construction for 45 years. Brutal work, dangerous work. Came home exhausted every single night, built a life for his family, put 3 kids through college, paid off a house, and what did he hear? You're never around. You don't communicate. All you care about is work. Never thank you for breaking your body so we could have this life. Never, we see what you're sacrificing. Never, your work matters. So by 70, he's done. He's done seeking validation from people who will never give it. He's done proving his worth to those who will never see it. He's done being invisible while simultaneously being expected to hold everything together. Now he's alone. And you know what? He feels more seen in his solitude than he ever did in 40 years of marriage. Because at least now he's not being ignored while being taken for granted. He doesn't hate women. He's just exhausted from decades of emotional invisibility while being treated like a utility. Now here's what happens when a senior man does consider dating. His criteria have completely changed. At 30, he wanted attraction, chemistry, excitement. At 60, he wants peace, stability, and someone who doesn't create problems he has to solve. A 66-year-old widower told me this: "I don't want someone who needs me to complete her. I want someone who's already complete. I don't want someone who tests my commitment. I want someone whose loyalty is as solid as mine. I don't want drama, chaos, or games. I want calm." And here's the brutal reality. Women who meet those criteria are incredibly rare. Most women at that age are still operating from the same playbook, still testing, still expecting men to pursue and prove themselves, still bringing unresolved baggage from previous relationships. But he's done proving himself. He proved himself for 50 years and got nothing but criticism. So now, he'd rather be alone and peaceful than partnered and exhausted. He doesn't want someone who adds to his life conditionally. He wants someone who adds to his life, period. No tests, no games, no drama. And if he can't find that, he's perfectly content staying exactly where he is, alone, at peace, finally free. Senior men are not cold. They are careful. They are not uninterested. They are selective. They are not bitter. They are protective of their peace. They spent decades giving, sacrificing, and proving themselves to people who never appreciated it. And now they're done. Not because they don't value connection, but because they finally value themselves enough to refuse connection at any cost. The relationship truth you never expected? Senior men don't care about women anymore because they finally learned that peace is more valuable than performance. That solitude is better than conditional love. That choosing yourself isn't selfish when everyone else spent 50 years choosing themselves at your expense. Drop a comment. Does this change how you see senior men? Are you one of them? Subscribe. We're saying what nobody else will.